Hey everyone, and welcome to another Let's Play of my, hold on a minute. Another episode of my Let's Play of World of Tanks. There we go. Couldn't remember my opening lines. Jeez, man. I think that after doing it for as long as I have been, I would have, memorized it by now. Why in the world is my tanks acting up like this? I don't know. There we go. Oh well. Anyway, so... I figured I'd recap our little adventure that we had last night over at the World of Tanks meetup that we had with the Chieftain, of all people. He was in Baltimore area, and I got to meet up with a few cool peoples. Got to meet up with some people from all over the area, and hung out with a bunch of cool people. They all, you know, from all over, all different types of tankers, from high clan members to young kids who are just getting into it. And I got to talk with quite a few people. I mean, it was a fun little experience. I got to, you know, a few people recognize me. Not too many, but I mean, that's normal. I wouldn't expect everybody in the world to know me. That'd be kind of creepy. Not nearly at the level as like a Captain Sparkles with, you know, Minecraft or anything. But needless to say, it was a really cool experience to hang out with everybody. Really cool to meet the Chieftain, and got to learn a little bit about some small things, and I think I even recruited a guy because I was hanging out with him, and he was a pretty cool dude, and he seemed to fit the mold that we're looking for clan-wise, and he fit, we fit the role he was looking for, and he fit the role we were looking for. And I mean, it's one of those things where it's like one of those times where it's like we have so many members right now, we can't really afford to bring anyone on, but the one occasion where you find that right personality, it's what you do. But anyway, talking with all the different people is kind of cool. Learned some interesting new things, like I said. My specific thing that I brought up that I really wanted an answer to was the whole, is there going to be inclusion of minor axis and Italian tanks? And that was confirmed. The Chieftain mentioned that yes, that eventually Romanian, Hungarian, Finnish, stuff like that will all get wrapped into one group along with the Italians as like a European power tank line. So that's going to be cool to see the minor axes get involved, and also the Italians, because the Italians have some pretty cool tanks. While they're like very susceptible to damage and everything else, they're interesting. And wow, this I really camped it hard here, didn't I? I know I did well in this match, but I'm trying to remember what exactly happened. I think we pick it up as time goes on. But anywho's, where was I? So yeah, learned something interesting about that. Learned about a little bit about World of WarShips and World of Warplanes. World of Warplanes, they talked about things that already actually just got announced. The whole playing X number of games during E3 week, you get a gold for that. And if you play X number of games during the entirety of beta, if you played during like closed beta, you get 2. If you played during open beta, you get 1. If you played during closed alpha, you get 3 if you play 700 battles total, something like that. So either which way, they're really pushing hard to get people to play that a lot. And I mean, sadly, World of Warplanes just isn't my thing, but they talked about how they're making improvements on that and how they're making it work so that it's going to be a little bit, because they were definitely saying that War Thunder had some good ideas and how they were totally going to have to look into why people like that more, per se, and what they can do to improve their game system, because obviously they want to be competitive, and so they're looking at different ways to improve things. And of course, the latest patch that they brought out was a nice bit, bringing out new UI and everything else and control system. And so they said they're going to continue in that light and try and bring up some new ideas and make things work a little better. Just generally try and improve the user experience, so to say, to get more people interested, make it more fun for people, and just have a general better time playing it, make more deviations in the types of planes so that it's really, everything stands out on its own. And then of course they brought up the whole World of WarShips, which is more in line of what I'd love to play, because it's just, I'm more interested in battleships and everything else. And he talked about how basically you're going to have the 4 different types of ships, 4 or 5. Of course, you have your destroyer, which is big guns, big armor, your cruisers, which are medium guns, your escorts, which are smaller, and then your carriers, which are like tiny guns that are more like defensive, but lots of aircraft. They talked about how it's not like you'd be continually replenishing your aircraft on the aircraft carrier. Once they're done, they're done. So if you make poor decisions with that, you're out of it. Good luck. And then he said that that's for balance reasons, obviously, because you can't, go about... I think they also mentioned, they're going to have... they might have submarines. I don't remember that part. You're going to have to forgive me. I was drinking heavily on their dime. But anyway, so they talked about how you would be able to send out your bombers and everything to go and take care of stuff, and send out your fighters to go and help defend some of the ships, and just along that line. And then also they mentioned along the lines of how destroyers and the bigger guns would actually have the artillery-like God mode that you see in World of Tanks. So they'd bring that aspect into it, and so it wouldn't be nearly as accurate as artillery is. They would allow you to just pepper areas with lots of battery fire from shells. And of course, when you have a 3-barrel mount on a single gun and you have 3 of those mounts, you're talking a lot of shells all coming down into one area. So they talked about how that would be a nice, how that's going to be a mechanic they're going to look into. How they're going to have actually direct fire stuff, like with the escorts and the escorts and the destroyers. But the battleships are going to be a little combination of destroyer and an artillery SPG aspect, and just general stuff like that. And of course they mentioned that while the heavier guns are going to be more of a God mode, anything that has torpedo is going to be more direct fire, because that's where you're going to get the direct fire aspect, is your torpedoes, because those are point and shoot, and they are kind of dumbfire. You fire them and fire and forget sort of things, because they travel in a straight line. So it's going to implement a whole having to lead system and things like that. So with that, we're going to wrap up this battle here. I'll go ahead and talk about the stats to this, and I'll wrap up my experience from the player meetup in the next part of this video. So while most games in a TD are kind of slow to start, like this one in particular, they do end up being pretty well if you play it, pretty exact. And I mean, I played this one, I would say that I played this TD, I don't want to say perfectly, but the way that you quote-unquote should play a TD. I did very well. As you can see, I got Sniper, getting 40,000 experience, and 40,000 experience would be insane. 40,000 credits and 2,500 experience. Killing off 4 people is not something to shy away from, especially when damaging that Foch and doing a little bit of damage here and there to some other people's. And of course, getting that 103 and sniping out that GW. I don't know, just generally had a good game. I mean, I really couldn't argue with what happened there, so we're going to go ahead and take a look at the team score there. And of course, being on top by about 1,000, or a little under 1,000, still not doing bad at all. I thoroughly had a good time with this tank, and I mean, I actually have retired it. I have one more battle to show you in it, but before I do, I figured I'd buy one more time with it this way, show it to you here. And so we'll go ahead and take a quick look at the detailed report. And as you can see, 3,000 damage, nothing to shy away from. And of course, a little bit of potential damage received. Nothing too severe, not too much in the way of repairs either. Still did pretty good. So I know I talked about that one pretty quick, but we're going to just jump into the next video. Seems to be a little more fun that way, and plus I can finish off my my story there. Alright, so where was I with my story? Anyway, I figured I'd show you the little crazy battle here with an AMX 5100 in the city that kind of goes back and forth. It's a short one, so I figured I'd talk over this one as well. But anyway, where was I with my story? World of Battleships, or Warships rather. It's going to be a really interesting mechanic. The whole torpedo element is your fire and forget, and then the whole like big guns are your like an artillery, so you can have like multi-purpose sorts of. So look at it as if you're playing World of Tanks. You had not only the ability to do an arty strike, but then swap and be able to normally fire without having to worry about the whole having to shotgun really well. You just play normal tank, but you can do both roles and have multiple guns to do both. So it's actually a really cool idea. And I mean, I can't wait to try it out and see it. I guess I need to apply to the, what is it, the closed alpha, I think is what they're taking signups for, but I thought you had to have some crazy amount of, like, what do you want to call it? You have to have, like, several hundred or several thousand forum posts or something in order to get on there. So more than likely, I'm not going to be part of that fun shenanigans as much as I wish I could. But anyway, so yeah, it's gonna be a cool mechanic. I can't wait to see it. And what else did they say about it? Anything really in particular that's standing out of my mind? Not really that I can think of. I don't even remember mentioning like what nationalities are going to be in it, but I imagine pretty much everything because it'll be your standard fare. It'll be, you know, British, American, Soviet, or Russian rather, and Japanese and German. I would imagine are going to be your major tier or nationalities. They'll probably start off with the standard U.S., German, and Russian. But I think it'd make a little more sense to also throw in Japanese in that as well, and then expand into British and all the other fun ones as well. I mean, I guess you could technically throw in the French too, and then French, Finnish, Chinese, perhaps. There's a lot of options. I don't know them all offhand. I'm not as familiar with the intricacies of that sort of aspect, the naval combat. I know the major battles and have like medals and stuff from my uncles in their time in the Pacific theater, but in terms of anything else, I'm at a loss offhand. I'm not quite up to date. And wow, I actually bounced an IS-6 shell, go figure, off of a 5100. The rarity that is. Didn't want to take that chance there, and I saw that Hellcat coming around, so bailed out of that little one. Still have quite a few shells here. I love just the damage output the 5100 can do if properly supported. I can't tell you how many times I kind of get myself in trouble, though. I do that more often than not. I'm pretty bad about getting myself into trouble, and it's never a good thing. Oh, come on, I can finish well, can I? Nope. Leave them with 9 hit points, because there's no other way to win a game than leave people. It's like the curse of the autoloader is you always leave... The last shot either leaves people with less than 1%, or you deflect off with that last shot. There's no other circumstance whatsoever. None at all. So now that they're actually capping, I gotta swing back to go and stop the cap, because I think everybody else is a little contained elsewhere. Plus, you know, defense is always the best way. Anywho, where was I? So battleships, that wrapped up. They did a little bit of giveaways. They were giving away they gave away a bunch of little codes for M2 Lite, a couple days of premium, stuff like that. I ended up getting that. I got a nifty keychain here. That's actually a bottle opener with Wargaming logo on it, which is pretty hot. And then in addition to that, they also, a representative of either a hobby shop or was he just a distributor of Dragon miniatures. They do these, like, 1 to 72nd scale diorama stuff. I ended up winning 2. I feel bad that I won 2 of them. I honestly should give one away. But I won a Yeg Panther and a Ferdinand, or an elephant, diorama, because I knew the answer to who was the U.S. tank ace, which is Lafayette Pool, and then I also knew the answer to what did the Russians call the M4 Sherman, which was the Imcha. So I knew the answers to those, thus I won those. No one else knew Lafayette Pool, which was actually a surprise to me. I couldn't believe that. Any other answers or questions I remember? Not offhand. It was just a lot of Q&A about the upcoming patch. They tried to get a little bit of information about, you know, Chieftain's playstyle and the upcoming Clan War campaign and stuff like that. He really didn't have too much to add about that isn't already known. And in terms of the Clan Wars Campania, yeah, he didn't know much about that. As for him playing, he actually runs 2 accounts, one of which he's actually in a clan that they don't know it's him, but their logo is his hat. Go figure. And his other account is a WGA account, and he said that as a clan, they're all not very good together, but individually they have a few good players. And then I talked to a guy who's in a clan. He's in Simp. That was kind of cool to talk to him and learn his theories on clans and clan wars, so on and so forth, as I'm shooting here to tunnel through the building to get this M41. That's kind of what I'm trying to do here. Eventually going to make my way through the building so I can shoot him. But, yeah, so now I can see him. Too bad I won't be able to hit him in time. Took me quite a few shots to get through there. But yeah, other than that, I already told you about the guy I hung out with, and then I was hanging out with 2 guys really early. And then there were 2 kids at the end I was talking to who were actually viewers, so they'll probably hear themselves on here. I'm not going to call people out by name, But if you're on the spreadsheet, you know who you are, and I know who you are. Anyway, let's recap this battle. I'll do one more, and we'll wrap it up there with the recap of everything. Lovely little AMX battle there, as I had to go back and forth between the two different caps. One to defend and then one to cap? Question mark? But yeah, if I didn't go back and defend, that could have been some big problems right there. Anyways, we take a look at the screen here. We see I did right under 50,000 credits and about 3,500 experience, which is not bad at all. Not bad at all. 5 tanks in total damaged and 2 of them killed. So nothing spectacular out of the way. It was more the fact that I had to go from one end of the map to the other, and then again to the other side of the map. So as you see though, I did about 4,000 damage if we look at the team score there. Not too bad at all. And top of the experience charts by a good chunk there, about 100 and change. The T-29 actually pulling up second place pretty effectively with experience, and the T-34 there right underneath him but having more damage. So not too shabby at all. I did double anyone's damage. That's pretty nifty for this tank, especially in the fact you have to consider the 50-second reload on this thing. And then we take a final look at the detailed report here. We see I sustained about 1,000 damage. One of them was a bounce, which was nice. And of course, decent amount of hits. I would have actually had sniper if I didn't decide to try and burrow through that building like I was doing. But I had to try and burrow through it to get that tank, but kind of a waste there. Oh well, no big deal. Anyway, that's going to wrap this battle up. Let's go into one last one so I can finish my stories again about the player meetup, and we'll take it from there. Alright, so I wanted a short battle to wrap this one up with, and a 7-minute battle isn't that short, but I'll try and make it work. These videos are starting to get a little on the long side. I think 30 minutes is pushing it. Might have to start cutting it down to, like, you know, about 15 to 20, because I don't think I can keep you guys interested for 30 minutes, and I feel bad about making you guys sit through it. I'm going to do more quality stuff, so I might have to tighten it up just a tad bit there, make it work a little better. Anyway, where was I? Yeah, so ended up talking with all these people. It was cool. They ended up handing out those giveaways, which was pretty cool. Ended up using my my code already, so now I have an M2 Lite, which is an interesting, speedy little tank. I've never played it. I've only ever played against it. It's not the Locust, but hey, it's still pretty fast and tiny and awesome. Yeah, the giveaway stuff. We hung out. We talked. Chieftain, though, man, that guy is very soft-spoken. I had trouble hearing him a lot of times, but then again, I was talking to people left and right here and there. The issue, of course, being the fact that it was an open bar, and it was kind of loud with all the chit-chat and whatnot I was going. But yeah, he's quiet. Cool dude, though, so it was nice to meet everybody. When you put faces to name or to screen names and you just meet people, they're no longer that, you know, mindless person on the other end of the screen that, you know, you shoot at. They now have a name to them, you know, have a face to them. You can respect them, you can understand their what they do and how they do it in the game, their theories on stuff. Got a nice little burn there on the IS-3, by the way. Nice lucky shot there, but a little late there. Of course, the Carnivan's just... Oh, yeah. I'll get to that one in a minute. The Carnivaron. Ah, Jesus. You're all gonna give me crap. So give me just a minute and I'll get into the battle with that thing. But yeah, so where was I? Yeah, so I mean it was cool. Player meetups, I highly recommend if they ever have player meetups in your area, you totally go and check them out. There's just no reason not to. If you can make it there, if they were like within 45 minutes to an hour of you, definitely go. And it's just really really cool to meet people, really cool to meet the Chieftain. Of course, they gave away stuff, and that was really awesome that the guys from Dragon X Miniatures, I have them both at work. They're on my desk, so I will have to go and either snap a picture and put it on Twitter, or I'll put the link to them in the description here somewhere when I get to it. Again, the boxes are at work, and I'm at home right now recording. So, yeah, I'll do that. And then, yeah, I mean, otherwise, it was a great time. I had a great night meeting people, hanging out with people. And, yeah, I wouldn't have thought of a better way to spend my Tuesday night. So, it was a pleasure hanging out with everybody. Hopefully, a lot of them tune in and, you know, see this video and now can put my voice to my face and, you know, so on and so forth. But, yeah. Had a great time meeting everybody, and yeah, again, if you're ever in the area for a one of their meetups, definitely go to it. Anyway, so the Carnarvon. Carnivian? How the hell do you pronounce this stupid thing? Caravan? I think it's... Oh, man, I'm never going to get it right. The reason why I pronounce it Carnivan is because of the stupid... I play Hordes. Well, I don't play it too much. I own a Horde army, which is it's a 28mm skirmish level miniature game. It's like fantasy and stuff, fantasy and steampunk-ish. But I have these Legion of... What are they called? Legion of Everblight. And they have a dragon-heavy monster, which is called a Carnivian. And that's where I get the Carnarvon from, is because they're very similar, and I start to interchange letters, and also I'm a retarded American who can't obviously pronounce... I'm looking at this stupid tweet which I posted, which has the proper pronunciation, Carnarvon. So, yeah, but I mean, there's two different pronunciations. I have Carnarvon, and then I have Caernarvon. God, I'm never gonna get it right. What, is there some nickname I can call it? Because I just can't get it right. I'm going to admit that one. Learning how to pronounce the Luva was difficult, because I just would rather call it the lion. But, man, I'll get it. I'll get it one of these days. Go ahead and make fun of me and give me crap. Whatever. I'll deal with the haters. Them's the breaks. But yeah, so enough about all the side stuff. So I've rambled on quite a bit for now. So I might as well just talk about my progress in the game, and I'll actually catch you up on some fantastic battles in the next video. But as for anything else, I've actually ended up retiring two of my tanks. The VK20, or not VK2801, the VK4502, the Alpha, the one that has the sloped armor in the front, the turret in the back is the Papa. I have the Alpha, whatever the designations are, the tier 8 one. Wrapped it up. I ended up finishing it off. Enjoyed my time in it. Easily going to be one of my top favorite tier 8s. I really enjoyed it a lot. I don't know what about it made it so fun for me, but I just really had a good time with it. And I mean, it really spoke to my playstyle. I really was able to work it well with that armor. And then beyond that, it just had a good time with it. Never had too much of a bad game once I slowly learned how to play it, learned how to make it work for me, and it was just overall, I highly recommend it. It's more of an aggressive heavy, so it's not one that you would typically snipe with, especially in the fact that once you learn how to properly angle your armor, the thing actually gets really good. Now, moving on from that, I'll get the 4502P, which is the king of all kings at side scraping. So I'll really learn how to side scrape with this upcoming tank, especially with that rear mounted turret. Time to really start to learn how that works and focus on it, and just generally, you know, start playing that play style. And plus, it's a tier 9 super heavy, but it won't come out for a while because I'm working. I have a bunch of other tier 8s coming up. Instead, I have the Panther 2, the Lorraine 15550, the something else. Maybe it was the TD. I don't remember. I'd have to look. But I have a slew of more stuff coming out, new stuff, that I'm going to touch on soon. And then the other tank that I unlocked, or I mean I retired, was actually the tank that I was playing earlier, the Ferdinand. Now, I've actually finished that up. I believe, looking at this, I have one more battle in it. Ooh, I do have one more battle in the 45 as well. But yeah, so I wrapped up those two tanks. The Ferdinand, this is one of my more favorite TDs. While the ISU-152 was a BL-10 carrier, I think I like the Ferdinand a little bit better. I think I'm really going to like the accuracy of the Jagdtiger. So I can't wait to give that thing a try. But of course, tier 9s are going to take kind of a side stage to everything else because they're just more expensive. But there you have it. I wrapped up this one. So let's go touch on the stats and then we'll call it there. So as expected with almost any KV4 game, I ended up getting Steel Wall there because I took a crap ton of hits. And of course I pumped out a lot of damage there as well. That was a pretty intense game there. Earning, what was that, about 3,600 experience, which is nothing too shy. Right about, seems to be my average lately has been about 50,000 credits, give or take a few here and here and there. But, you know, damaging quite a few tanks there, killing off 4. Always a good bit of damage and good bit of work there. We're going to blow through these really quick, by the way. So, looking at the team score, see I topped damage there with a 3,300 damage. Nothing too bad. And, of course, 1,200 experience, which is a very high number of experience. Usually 11 is what I top out at. So that was a fantastic little battle there. Especially getting the steel wall, because I mean, it's just a nice little gloating point of the KV-4. The sad part is, with the introduction of premium rounds becoming more popular, the main standing point of the KV-4, which is that armor, slowly gets more and more easier to mitigate. So you really have to rely on angling your tank and making it so you're not exposed to too many rounds. I mean, you can take a lot of fire in the thing. It's meant to soak up hits. But that long 107 really is a great gun, and it does all the make up for anything else. It's actually very accurate. So, gonna go ahead and take a look at the detailed report there to see just what happened. I'm getting a text. So, I ended up taking about 3,000 damage, which is pretty awesome. That I was able to bounce that off 13 hits, which actually is not that many. And then, you know, shooting 14 times, hitting only 11 of them actually going through and doing damage. 3,000 is nothing to shy away from. Good chunk of damage there. So, overall, good game of my KV-4. Again, I'm finding a lot of the tier 8s I'm playing now, minus the 50-100, which somehow I'm actually doing decent in, are becoming my favorites. I don't know why, just is working out that way. So, anyway, I want to thank you guys for tuning into this episode of my Let's Play World of Tanks. I know it's kind of a little, chatty, but hey, I had a good time last night, so I just had to tell you guys all about it. So anyway, thank you guys for coming out and enjoying this episode of my Let's Play. I will catch you guys in the next episode. See you then.